Jujutsu Kaisen is gearing up to an intense showdown that has been built for quite a while now. Sukuna, the king of curses, is thrashing through one sorcerer after another. Gojo had his go at Sukuna earlier, but after him came more sorcerers, each of whom had tried to stop Sukuna. However, it was always supposed to fall on the main character, Yuji, since he would bear the weight of this fight to bring Sukuna down once and for all. As the story unfolds, it's quite undeniable that Fushigiro's return is imminent, and it's all because of Yuji. For the past 2 months, Yuji had been growing stronger and stronger, with new powers being forcefully ripped out of him like some bottomless well. This time, though, he had finally proved himself with something truly powerful, unlocking domain expansion, which many regard as the pinnacle of Jujutsu sorcery. Now that Yuji has attained this power, he finally sees Yuji as a threat, and it's finally time for Fushigiro's comeback at this point. Everything builds up to a quite fast-paced ending, with every indication that Yuji is going to play a major role in finally ending Sukuna once and for all. Anyway, before we continue any further, please press the like button and please subscribe to my channel and turn on all post notifications so you don't miss any daily uploads. Now, let's continue. Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 265 was pivotal. Groundwork is laid for what is to be the ultimate showdown of the series. Anyone who knows the series realizes by now that Yuji is destined to take down Sukuna, and this chapter really cements that narrative. Yuji finally grew to another level as he tapped into his domain expansion for the first time, finally changing the scale of this ongoing battle. Knowing how Yuji suddenly had access to this powerful ability, it's important to trace his progress mainly during the Shinjuku Showdown arc. Through the current arc, Yuji has been able to advance constantly. Not only has he been able to stand up to Sukuna, but he has also been developing in many unforeseen ways. This gradual development is what eventually leads him to unlock his domain expansion. That's not all though. Yuji's arsenal has grown significantly in recent chapters. He has activated the reverse curse technique, and also he can now yield 2 different curse techniques, blood manipulation and that of the shrine. In blood manipulation, he has been granted the ability of convergence, through which he is able to use the technique of piercing blood. Shrine technique gives him abilities for cleave and dismantle. All of these were somewhat close to Sukuna's powers though. At the same time, he uses them very differently. Adding to this, Yuji's previous switch with Kusakaba enabled him to manifest a simple domain, which he already uses in this fight against Sukuna. He is leading into a collection of abilities that forms the basis of his domain expansion. Surely enough, Yuji would bring out this skill, and now he would be totally equipped against Sukuna at his strongest. On the final page of the previous chapter, we see Yuji activate his domain, putting both him and Sukuna inside it. While we don't get the whole details of the domain, what we see is mimicking a train station. This itself could mean that it's actually Yuji's domain, and not just a projection from the mind of Sukuna. The setting is relevant in establishing what changed about the power dynamics. Clearly, Yuji was present at the train station, and so was Sukuna, only this time he was in Yuji's body instead of Fushigiro's, providing a whole lot of complications. It remains to be seen what Yuji himself has in store, but the confrontation between Yuji and Sukuna will certainly be brought forth. Knowing this confrontation is coming, it's assumed that Yuji will give all he has in this fight since it takes place on his home turf. This gives him an advantage, and it definitely foreshadows that Yuji may be the person to take Sukuna down. Such a battle will obviously run for at least several chapters, since nothing involving a character of Sukuna's power will end so easily. However, with all plot twists and turns, the outcome seems to be Sukuna's defeat. Yuji will take the upper hand in the battle eventually and land his powerful sure-hit attack on Sukuna. This attack might be unknown at this time, but fans know that Yuji has the power to affect souls in whatever technique he ends up utilizing against the King of Curses, be it cleave or dismantle or just about any other technique that Yuji can throw at him. It is going to mark the end of the King of Curses in Megumi's body. Even if the first one does not kill or even truly defeat Sukuna, it might be forceful enough to rip him from Fushiguro, hence freeing him. As the fight goes on, Jujutsu Kaisen heavily implies that Fushiguro is going to awaken any moment now. Fans only need to wait for Yuji's domain to finish its job, and land this powerful blow on Sukuna, which he clearly cannot sustain. Even just a dismantle attack hit the space between Fushiguro and Sukuna's souls, and Sukuna reacted to that by vomiting 3 of his fingers. If just a moment is given to Yuji for his last attack to strike that vital space, the control of Sukuna in Fushiguro's body would break down to the ground, giving another chance to Fushiguro for an awakening. This is the pivotal moment that could shift the battle into its final phase. There are a couple of possible outcomes. Either Yuji may end Sukuna's life right there, and then fully completing the entire thematic arc of the story, releasing him into the afterlife, or Sukuna could then trigger the merger moments before, and then turn into some sort of absurd monstrosity. If Yuji emerges victorious over Sukuna and the battle ends, in other words, this will end the Shinjuku Showdown arc. This will now get the series to wrap up very close, and the finale might just be around the corner over the next month or two. Otherwise, should Sukuna be reanimated and survive, this will only introduce another phase in the anime where all the sorcerers, including Megumi, will gather together to challenge him. Fans who have wanted this return, for his character is a miss, couldn't ask for anything more. His absence has become one of the biggest discussion points for the readers of a manga, to a point where his return doesn't seem likely but necessary for the story to get back on track and find a satisfactory close. Megumi has shown a lot of potential contorted with his subtle character throughout most of the series. It would sound very sensible for him to take up a critical space before the completion of the story of Jujutsu Kaisen. Fans might wonder how Fushiguro can still be relevant in the battle if Sukuna is going to be defeated soon. The answer lies in a key plot device the creator introduced earlier, Kenjaku's insurance. Before Kenjaku's demise, he passed this insurance to Sukuna. Now Sukuna holds the means to trigger a merger, which could potentially be activated, marking the beginning of the final part of the Shinjuku Showdown arc. It's clear now that his defeat is inevitable and will happen sooner or later. However, even after his defeat, the battle may not be over. Sukuna still has the ability to initiate the merger, which poses a significant threat. Fans are uncertain about what to expect from this merger. There are no reliable predictions. What's certain is that it won't be easy for the sorcerers to handle. The merger would transform Sukuna into something far more formidable. He would transcend his current form and ascend to a higher level, posing an even greater challenge for everyone involved. At this point in the story, it remains unclear how one might overcome this challenge. While it's not obligatory for him to utilize it, given that he possesses Kenjaku's safeguard, if the author opts not to incorporate this plot device, it would be a complete waste. The final saga demands its inclusion at some stage, and this current juncture presents the perfect opportunity for its deployment. As it stands, Sukuna has suffered his first ever defeat, marking a significant moment in his existence. Nonetheless, he now proceeds towards the merger, ensuring he retains the opportunity to confront and vanquish his adversaries. The road ahead won't be smooth sailing, and fans are aware that the King of Curses still harbors ambitious plans for society at large. The excitement in JJK is set to intensify as the series approaches its climax, promising grander and more epic battles. Alright, let's talk about whether Fushiguro will turn evil or not. Right now, Fushiguro might be able to briefly take control of his body, but whether he can fully suppress Sukuna is another question. Fushiguro joined the culling game to save his sister, and her death was the breaking point for him. Plus, Sukuna used Fushiguro's body to kill his last father figure, Gojo, which makes it hard to see Fushiguro finding his will to fight again anytime soon. Because of this, some fans think Fushiguro might come back as an anti-hero or even start the merger with Tengen, which is a big threat we still don't fully understand. On the flip side, some think Sukuna could end up in Yuji's body again if he's forced out of Fushiguro's, bringing Yuji's journey full circle and pushing him back towards self-sacrifice. So, the big question is, will Fushiguro turn evil? Given everything he's been through, it's possible he could go down a darker path. Sukuna has caused him immense pain and loss, and without his sister or his father figure, Fushiguro might struggle to find a reason to fight for good. If Fushiguro does regain control, he might not be the same person. He could become an anti-hero, doing whatever it takes to achieve his goals, even if it means making questionable choices. The idea of him starting the merger with Tenkan is a real possibility, adding a new layer of complexity to his character. In the end, we don't know for sure what will happen with Fushiguro or Yuji. The story could go in many directions, and fans are eagerly waiting to see how it all unfolds. Anyway, please tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to my channel and turn on all post notifications so you don't miss any daily uploads.